Hello there. My name is Miriam from Miriam's Portal, the Sacred Portal of Transformation. And I like to actually, with this video, I would like to actually bring you questions and series of questions and answers from the shaman Don Augustin, with whom I have originally made an interview video. However, the video is in Spanish, so for some of us or some of the people that don't speak in Spanish, I wanted to bring an English translation. So this is the main reason why I have prepared this other video. And what I like to do is basically take a question and read the question, and right after that I'm going to answer the question, which is basically exactly a translation from his original Spanish video. And the reason I'm doing this because I wanted you to get to know this beautiful person, to get to know the depth of his answers, to get to know his wisdom and the type of person he really is. So let's go ahead and get started, and I will go ahead and start reading the question, and I'll read his answers as well, yeah? Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. First question. Don Augustin, do you think that ayahuasca's intelligence has a message for humanity? Don Augustin responds, of course. Whenever someone has the opportunity to try the medicine, it will have a message for humanity. Because everything that has been created by God and all that has been created by the soil is given to us. It is also integrated into us, humans. We simply have to recognize it, and we must try to interpret it in an understandable way, what earth is, what soil actually is. And Don Augustine continues. There are many people who love the earth, but they do not even know what it is or what it means, nor they take good care of the place where they live. So we talk about the message of the earth for us. It means it's equally important to take care of ourselves too, to respect nature for everything that it gives us. Earth gives us everything we need. We have to embrace the earth for what it gives us. It is our duty as her children in this dimension whenever we enter the transformation. When we are walking on earth, we don't levitate above it, do we? If we jump and follow this message that the ground will always catch us and the earth will always give us love, which is the important part. In shamanism, in curanderismo, transformation is possible through an intelligent and wise plant, which is ayahuasca, because it brings us the opportunity to know, and also brings this opportunity to others to know what the earth really is, and how we should treat and take care of the earth, and also how we should interpret this guardianship in a distinct way, as there are people who sometimes do not even know what the earth is, what it actually means, or what medicinal plants can do. Second question. When talking about the spirit and the intelligence of medicinal plants, for example, ayahuasca or San Pedro or peyote, do these spirits of the plants have their own characteristics and their own personalities? And Don Augustine responds, of course. Different plants have their behavior. What I would like to say is that if I will give peyote or ayahuasca or different master plant to someone, we have to be very careful and be well aware of the doses and what the dosage of the plant for the person is. Because when we're talking about the spirit of this plant entering into the body, and it then makes a direct deal with our personal spirits, it's a transformation of messages, a transformation of different introspections. For example, the behavior of peyote is different, and we have to pay attention to the doses, a lot of attention, because what happens is that it separates the soul from the body too strongly, and in this case, for example, it is not necessary to raise the dosage. What happens is that we, as curanderos or the healers, have to have the strength to accompany patients who come to us for different physical, emotional, or psychological issues. And we have to know what is the proper dose for people. If someone receives a higher dose than they should, it can create terror within them and send them on a bad trip. Don Augustin continues. I think it's a very delicate situation too. Of course, being human is delicate as well. Don't misunderstand me. We can't forget that we're humans. We have different characteristics and personalities, yes, but in reality, we all have feelings. Sometimes we have to control or pass it on to someone with wisdom. Sometimes we have to just keep moving with it. Sometimes it's a power of connection between the medicinal plants, the human being, and the humanity. We're talking about master plans that have spirit, that have consciousness, that have orientation, that have intelligence. Their spirit moves through the person because it travels through the senses and goes directly to the personal spirit. Third question. Don Augustin, what do you think of in terms of the senses of legalization medicinal plants, which are considered psychedelics? Don Augustin responds, well, I think that with all medicinal plants, we can agree what their strengths are and what their true purpose is, because I think that if we talk about plants that create addictions, we have to pay very close attention. The body does not deserve or need addictions. The body deserves to have a different type of addiction called freedom, love, understanding, personal healing, or self-esteem for each person. And he continues, sometimes there are people that also misunderstand the definition of these plants. For example, ayahuasca is a medicinal plant considered as a master plant, which controls and cures addictions to other drugs. There is no continuation of addiction to these other drugs. If we are continuing to talk about psychedelic plants, we are talking about deep healings. We are talking about changing of the behavior of human beings by healing their emotions, healing their pain, healing of deformed organs. People come here to my camp because they want to directly experience medicinal plants that form inside and are not drugs. When talking about these medicinal plants, we're talking about visions. We're talking about the future. We're talking about projects. We're talking about personal healing. Therefore, we're talking about a master plant that does not create addiction. For example, these plants are ayahuasca or peyote or San Pedro. And he continues. But we are talking about marijuana, for example, being badly misused and not used in healing ritual. That is a different discussion. Now, the doors are being opened to the world, and marijuana is helping people, but only with the correct dosage. It has its way of treating illnesses, and for example, even the elderly are improving the quality of life. But there are people trying to cover their addictions, asking for these psychedelic plants just to continue their addictions, and that is not correct. Every human being can think and it's free to choose as they please. But there also needs to be a respect for the law of plants. The abuse is the problem, and the quantities are the poison. If the quantity is the poison, this means that person has to know what amount to take. Plants, medicines, everything you do in excess sometimes will create opposite behaviors or habits within the human body. Fourth question. Thank you, Don Augustin. Right now, for sometimes, these are sacred and indigenous traditions, but now it's a big industry. What do you think about that? That traditions are coming back? And Don Augustin says, I think that there are people who try to follow the traditions, but the times are changing. And there are also people who are not exactly prepared to lead a ceremony, as they do not know how to lead people to enter the sacred space, as sometimes an ego is formed within healers because of the lack of experience. I have heard story about this within our shamanic community. I think that each plant deserves respect. Each plant deserves to be honored in its traditional form, even though evolution is inevitable. Prohibitions and bans that happen in the past no longer apply because these times are different. Today, new diseases are evolving, new different behaviors of people are emerging, even new and different emotional states are evolving, even more now than ever before. We have so much more to do. According to changing times in which we are living, we must come to an understanding that either we are going to judge or we are going to prohibit things within a reason. I am going to put the woman as an example. If the woman is in her cycle, she has the full right to be in her strength, with her joy, with her faith, and to enter the ceremony without prohibition and submissions and everything else. However, there are shamans and curanderos that prohibit a woman to enter during her cycle. Is just the ego and machismo. The master plant ayahuasca, just like God, gives everyone a chance to heal, so that everyone can heal without prohibitions. Do we see God prohibiting the woman to participate during her cycle in a ceremony? The medicine will also never prohibit her either. This stigma has been due to pushing women to submissive behavior and not giving women the opportunity to participate. I also see the fear of the man that the woman is more than the man. And that is not how it should work now. Here in my camp, all of those values that women have are accepted and are valued as such. At my camp, we give the opportunities to women to complete their strength, as they also need to live a fuller life. Fifth question. Okay, Don Augustin, thank you very much. With the expansion of medicinal plants in Western society and big entrepreneurs funding the scientific research to study these plants, what is the role of a shaman and the future of the shaman in this? And Don Augustin responds, well, I believe that if we look at this from a human perspective, not from status or anything like this, I believe that all people, no matter how big researchers they are, even if they are doctors with university degrees and everything else, they have the opportunity to feel and to be human. For example, we believe that a doctor is the healthiest on earth, and yet he's not. He's also only a human. He has his emotions and his feelings. But to touch base more to that, which is called the scientific world, there are many people that know the electromagnetic pathways of the body, that know the neurons, where they are traveling, know what is human behavior in the visionary emotional world, know the behavior of plants, know plants help each other, know the transmission between plants and energy. But what I also understand is that each plant has its mother, has its soul, has its heart, has its spirit, has its family. Each plant is also compatible with a human being, according to how you treat it. And if you treat it bad, of course, it goes into defense mode and it will treat you bad. And Don Augustin continues. In scientific research, they are also seeing many things. There are energy transitions, and they are starting to look at what the behavior of the soul is when the soul separates from the body, and sometimes the desire to live is no longer there. The antidepressant pills for depression are more and more putting the body into sleep mode, so it is not able to feel anymore. Then in this case, science is also looking to combine curanderismo or shamanism, as they call it, with healing with the plants, strengthening homeopathy. They are looking for a strong combination to be able to help people. With science comes a limitation. We are not stating that science is not able to, but science has a limitation when healing people. I think that an experience with a healer before the scientific world, before the psychological world, also must not be forgotten, because everything is inside of psychology. There is an energy field where the healer is similar to the scientist. In this case, there is not much of a difference. The thing is, from what we see, we can imagine many things, but to have a profound experience is very different. When one experiences, he or she enters another way of thinking and another way of recognizing. Plant medicine guides us into a journey that sometimes we do not even know how we got there. But we arrive in a visionary, emotional, conscious state. We know who we are. We know where we're sitting or where we're not sitting, or where our things are. Who are we with? One does not lose their mind. Scientists also have to start thinking in a different way because of too much judgment. Science is also known to hide products that is good for humanity. We should also establish more clearly, for example, ayahuasca, that we view and believe that ayahuasca is a medicine, then it's a medicine and it will cure the neurosis. What everyone has from stress and from so many things that happen in life is neurosis. Is it possible to cure neurosis with antidepressants? Because here, we do not cure people with antidepressants. Here, the only way to really cure is with medicinal plants that go directly to transfer consciousness. First and foremost, there is a conversation with fear, talking directly to our feelings of helplessness because of not being able to do something about despair or our integrity about different things, what happen in our life. And if we understand this, then we have every right to talk with ourselves, being guided by a healer, so that he can move in a creative way to open our visionary parameters in a different way, and to understand logically and move forward with this new towards what the person really wants. So my dears, this was a series of 5 questions, and this is a video part 1. I will be making a second video to just kind of break it up and not to make it too boring. Second video from the questions 6 to 10. So I welcome you to actually listen to the second video as well. And again, this is just a direct translation from a video that I filmed with the master shaman from Peru, Don Augustin. And that video you can see also on my YouTube channel, my webpage, originally in Spanish. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.